Good evening, everyone. Pandy here of Pandy's Hair Candy and More. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everyone had a blessed Memorial Day holiday. It is Tuesday, May 28th, 2019, and it is late, and as you can see, I am chilling. Um, I just came on briefly tonight before I go and hop in the shower and get ready for bed so I can go to work to just review tonight's episode of Games People Play. Tonight was season 1, episode 6, and let's talk about it. Did you all enjoy the show? Were you able to catch the show? Um, it was kind of a different dynamic from what they had been bringing us in the first few episodes, I noticed. And I kind of feel like they were trying to walk us through the backstory of how we got to where we are today. They're kind of trying to bring us up to speed, and I'm here for it. Basically, checking my notes, y'all. Basically, tonight's episode started off with them reflecting back to 2012, which is where it all began. It's basically when Marcus King and Kareem first met. Now they keep reflecting back to old boy, the one who was messing with Kareem's mama, the one who was trying to shake them down from episode 1. I cannot remember his name and I cannot find it anywhere. And I also can't get any clarification as to whether or not, basically what his relationship is with Kareem. Is he his daddy? Is he the stepdaddy? Or is he just mama's side piece out here hustling old, the children? I can't call it, y'all. But anyway, they take us back to 2012 to where they're basically teenagers in high school being recruited. Marcus King is very green. He's subpar as a basketball player, but Kareem was the star player. He was the true recruit. He was destined to be Inglewood's finest, coming up out the hood and making a name for himself. He had the wherewithal to go far, and basically they took us back down that road, like I said, to introduce us to the backstory. They also showed a young Quanisha, or is it Quanisha, and a young Vanessa, and a young Nia. And we also got to understand Terrence's role in this whole scenario and how they met. Because basically, Vanessa and Nia ultimately ended up pledging together. They met in college. It seems like Nia has always been, marching to the beat of her own drum, very independent, very strong-willed, a true sister soldier. So for her to be in the journalism world now makes total sense, since seeing tonight's episode. They also show how Vanessa was kind of driven, but a little flip-floppy as far as, having her mind made up as to what it was she wanted to do with her life, but ultimately she was pursuing law. One particular night, I hate to keep saying old boy, but I cannot remember his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Old boy shows up to the dorm room with some other cat that looks kind of shady and shisty, and they basically are telling Kareem that he needs to throw the game. A lot of people have a lot of money involved, and of course, why would you raise the boy, train him to be great at basketball, great enough to where he gets accepted into college on a full scholarship, only to be out here hustling on the backside and trying to get him to throw the game. I mean, it's just crazy. But I believe that type of stuff does happen in the hood. So kudos to them for, highlighting true stuff, unfortunately. So they also try to intimidate Marcus into going along with it. He doesn't. He actually plays, and he shines that night where Kareem actually gets benched. Okay, old boy and his partner is so hot about the fact that they won the game that after the game is over, he's sitting outside in the car and he actually runs the boy down. He runs him down. Okay? Which now explains to us and introduces us to how it is that Kareem did not go pro after all, and he did in fact have the injury, and it basically took him off track of being on the career path of being a professional basketball player. So I guess it was cool that they gave us this backstory. They also show Nia and Terrence. There was a protest going on during that same evening when Vanessa snuck off because they were pledging. So they weren't even supposed to be leaving the sorority house. But they were pledging. Nia decided to go off on her own and do this protest march. And needless to say, she got arrested. And the young man who arrested her ultimately ended up bailing her out was Terrence, who in modern day is the great looking ex-boyfriend that she just sat down with and was fantasizing about last week's episode. Okay, still have a background in law enforcement. Looks like he does a little bit of private eye work on the side. And that's also the one that Vanessa shaded her for at the pool party by introducing her and her man, I believe his name is Eric, as, I'm sorry y'all, Terrence. I'm sleepy. It is freaking late here on the East Coast. It's a little after 10 and my behind was up late last night watching a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it, and then I had to turn around and get up and go to work this morning. So I'm tired, and on top of that, it was 100 degrees today here in South Carolina. So I'm wiped out. But I did want to come on and just kind of talk about the show. I want to stay consistent with my reviews. MJ, Nia's assistant, it was kind of funny because tonight's episode, it was flip-flopping from modern day back to 2012, 2013. Back to modern day, back to 2012, 2013. So it was kind of showing us the present with the past and then bringing us back into the present and then going back into the past. And I kind of like the way they incorporated that because it gave us a better understanding of what's to come. They also tied in this episode Golden Goddess. During that same era when they were all finding themselves and going their career paths of, law school, journalism, social activism, Nia, Kareem, trying to make professional basketball, Marcus trying to make professional basketball. They showed us that Golden Goddess in high school was kind of on the fast side, didn't have much girlfriends, got along better with the boys, but then the boys would ease up to her, get her to let down her guards, let down her walls, and then ultimately misuse her and mistreat her. So that kind of gave us a better understanding of how it is that she is the Instagram thottie that we see. you know, in modern day and in present day. And the previous episodes, she's been through a lot. She's been through a lot. She's been misused and abused, and she's got this attitude that I'm gonna get me before, you know, I'm gonna get me. I don't give by hell or high water. I'm gonna get me. And for those of you that's from the old school, you feel me. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that was very interesting, and I enjoyed them incorporating that in. But yeah, they kind of took us through that whole spiel. Desiree, who I want to say is the basketball team's attorney or consultant, also showed up to the house to speak to Marcus and let him know that they are not suspects in Kalinda's disappearance / murder. However, they are considered persons of interest. And that is the young lady that he was having an affair with, who also worked for that woman who Golden Goddess was working for. And basically who he was having an affair with and who they were being questioned about in season 1, episode 1. So she basically let him know that, you know, you all are considered persons of interest, because he played hooky from practice, because basically he's dealing with some kind of pain or injury of his own. He's now even asking for Kareem to obtain, look like, illicit drugs. And when I say illicit, I mean not necessarily street drugs like cocaine or anything like that, but definitely prescription drugs, but not his prescriptions. And I can speak on that because that is what I do. I'm in that as a career. And oftentimes you see that with a lot of professional athletes, bodybuilders, people that are in careers where, you know, their physical ability is heavily relied upon by them, sometimes and unfortunately abusing prescription drugs. So he's getting to that point. She does a pop-up at the house, catches him sitting up, grown man, playing a video game with Kareem. They usher Kareem off, and she has a brief conversation with him, and that's where she shared with him that, you know, they really need to consider getting a lawyer. And she suggested to him that him and Vanessa should get separate lawyers, one from another, not just one to represent them both. So that is where tonight's episode ended, with Vanessa coming home and Marcus informing her that that took place, and that Desiree feels like, you know, he should have an attorney and that she should look into getting one too. So we will see what happens next week, guys, next Tuesday. I am still loving the show. I think it's good. It's very entertaining. I'm enjoying it. Let me know what you all think down in the comments. Like I said, it's getting late. I'm tired. And I still need to go and take a shower and get in the bed. And get my stuff ready for work. So I'm going to head off. But I wanted to come on and just chop it up with y'all. Again, Pandy here of Pandy's Hair, Candy, and More. Please like the video on your way in or out, and please take a moment to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to do that, and please tap the bell so you can be notified of when I upload my next video. I thank you in advance for your support, and you all have a good night, and I'll talk with you all later. All right? Bye.